Hey everybody, Donkey Storm here, and today we're going to be talking about macros in World of Warcraft. I'm going to show you guys three kind of cookie cutter types of macros that you can use whether you're DPS, healer, or tank. They're all going to be in the description below that you can just copy and paste them and use them however you would like. So whether you're new to the game or just kind of new and maybe a little bit behind on macros, hopefully you'll find this video really helpful. And if you do, please like and subscribe. We're getting real close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and it would be awesome to get there. So without further ado, let's do it. So a macro in World of Warcraft is basically a button that combines multiple actions into one thing, making the game easier to play. The first one that I want to show you guys is a kick macro. So I've been doing a lot of lower keys on this character, this mage, trying to get him geared up. And one thing I noticed about the lower keys is that stuff just doesn't get kicked like it should be. And if you want to move forward in this game, in Mythic Plus, in raiding, whatever, kicking is a really important thing to do. And you want to make it as easy on yourself as possible. And this macro does exactly that. So what we got here, for my mage, your kick, your interrupt, is counterspell. So the first line of the code here is going to be show tooltip counterspell. You're going to see this in every macro we do. The show tooltip basically makes it so when you mouse over this macro, which I'm doing right here, it shows the tooltip, the explanation of what counterspell does rather than just saying counterspell and doing nothing. So to bring up your macros in game, you're just going to type /macro, and then you can go to new. You can choose an icon, give it a name, and then you're going to get this box to type in. Or in your case, maybe copy and paste. So this particular kick macro, what it does, it has three priorities. The first priority is a Mouseover macro. This is super cool because if we look at these three target dummies here and we pretend maybe this is a pull where the Raider's training dummy in the middle is some kind of priority target that I want to DPS, and the training dummy on the left is a target I don't want to DPS but needs to be interrupted. Here's what I can do. I can do my normal rotation on this guy in the middle. I can cast my spells on him, and when that mob on the left starts casting, I can mouse over him and press my kick button. For me it's G, and it kicks him. Not my current target, but the one I mouse over. So this is nice because I can continue to DPS the priority target while interrupting other targets without interfering with my rotation at all. Super helpful. So that's the first priority. If you mouse over something and press your kick button, it'll get kicked. The second priority is a focus macro. So if you don't like the mouse over part, sometimes when you're in melee and things are all like over here, if you're like a tank and you're in melee and things are all on top of each other, it can be a little bit harder to mouse over something. So what you might do instead here is use the second aspect of the same macro, which is a focus kick. So if you set one target as your focus and you continue to hit this, and we're doing whatever we do here, and now that mob starts to cast, I don't need to mouse over anything. It will just press that button, interrupts my focus target. Okay, so again, I get to continue to DPS the priority target, and my kick goes to my focus target without any tabbing or clicking around other targets. Super nice, very helpful, especially in things like Mythic Plus. And then the third priority of this macro, all on the same button, is just a regular kick. So if you don't have a focus, at all, you're just doing your rotation here, and your current target starts casting, just press your button, counterspell goes out. So this is not a mage thing. This is an anybody with a kick thing. The one caveat I will make is that on melee characters, I usually get rid of this mouse over part, and I'll just use this line. The focus is enough. I don't really like mouse over in melee. It's too easy to misclick, in my opinion. Some people use it. I don't. You can play around with it and see what you like, but that's a really solid kick macro. Alright, I'm here on my Shaman to do the second macro I want to show you guys, which is the Mouseover friendly macro. So my Shaman's a healer, so as a healer I'm going to have a ton of these. Pretty much all my heals are made into Mouseover macros. So the way that this works and why this is good is typically if you want to heal somebody, like if I want to cast Riptide on myself, I need to click on my nameplate and press the button. The difference here with this kind of macro is that I can just hover my mouse over the player bar and press a heal spell without clicking on the player. So you might think, well, what does it matter? What's the big difference? Here's the big difference. With macros like these, I can target, offensively. I can target an enemy, and I can be casting, spells on them and healing somebody else without changing my target around at all. So that's huge. If you want to be a successful healer, like if in Mystic Plus you want to actually make progress as a healer, at some point you're going to need to get some damage out. And that's really hard to do if you're clicking on the bars of your party and then clicking on the mob you're trying to hit, or clicking and tabbing or whatever. You're not going to be able to do the damage you want to do. But with this, you've got your target targeted the entire time, and you're just moving your mouse up and down the party bars or the raid frames or whatever you're using, and you're just pressing the button without clicking. So that lack of needing to actually target a person to heal them is really significant. So I'll show you what this looks like, but like I said, this is going to be in the description below. You can just steal it from down there. We show the tooltip every time, and then we just use this little line of code here, and you can just kind of insert whatever spell you want to use. And as you can see, I have like all my abilities set up in this way. So this is not a healer only thing. I've got this on my druid, my tank druid, remove curse. I've got it on my mage for the same thing. My shadow priest has it for dispel disease. Like, I think just about every class, healer, tank, DPS, you're going to have some type of friendly Mouseover macro you're going to want to make. And it's maybe even more important for those classes because their primary job is to DPS. If I'm a mage and I'm trying to do DPS on something, but I want to remove curses because that's what a good mage would do in this situation, well, I can continue to do my rotation. I can use my Mouseover macro to dispel whatever it is, and then I don't miss a beat. So that's going to be the second macro. You can find it down in the description below. Alright, so the third and final macro I want to go over with you guys is just kind of like a burst macro or a combination macro. I'm not sure what we want to call it. Basically, it's just putting abilities together on one button that you always use together anyway. Let me give you an example. So I'm on my druid here. On my druid, I use IQD. Since I don't have access to raid trinkets on this character. And since IQD is on a 3-minute cooldown and Incarn is on a 3-minute cooldown, I just exclusively use IQD with my Incarn to make it even stronger. And because I always use them together, I just have them macroed onto one key together because it saves me a keybind. So what I got here is another show tooltip that's going to show you whatever. If you don't specify after show tooltip, it's just going to show you whatever ability appears first in the macro. So for me, Incarn appears first. So if I mouse over this macro, it shows Incarn on the screen. Basically what this does is when I hit this button, I'm going to cast Incarn and I'll use my IQD just like this. Press the button and Incarn's up. You can see my IQD is up, gaining versatility. So cool beans. It's one button, saves me some space, and you can do many things with this. You can combine different abilities together. You can combine trinkets. You can combine like racials if you like forget to use your racial and you just want to use it like along with all your other cooldowns. You can put it on a macro with them. The thing to note with things like this though is you don't want to put abilities that are both on a global cooldown together. So I don't want to put like Moonfire and Thrash on on a macro together, it won't work. It'll cast whatever is first on the macro, but due to the global cooldown, it'll just sit there and not do anything for the second one. Now there are things like cast sequences and stuff like that, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about just making simple macros that make your life easier. So that's one of them right there. If you've got an unused trinket that you always use with another ability, or you've got maybe multiple cooldowns that you hit all at once and they're not sharing a global cooldown, you can just slap them all on one button. When I was playing around with Frosty K in Castle Nathria, I had a macro that had like, I don't even know, so much stuff on it. It was like your Breath of Syndragosa macro, and it was just like 7 lines of stuff all happening at once. It was super fun. So, you know, think about it. If you've got trinkets, cooldowns, abilities you always use together, this simplifies things. Now you don't have to press 3 buttons to pop your cooldown. You're pressing 1. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. It's very basic. If you guys have questions about macros or you want to see something more advanced, let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to expand on this. But I think for people just kind of getting their feet wet with macros, or maybe don't use them to their fullest, I think these are 3 macros that can really help you a lot. So if you guys enjoyed the video today, please like it, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.